Welcome to Kingdom Mothers Rise Up, where I encourage and equip you to heal your heart and renew your mind so you can live the fully abundant life Jesus promised you. Let's go. It's time to move. Some more thoughts about being a warrior. So, as a warrior, it's important to know that the enemy doesn't always look evil or appear destructive. Like scripture tells us that he can disguise himself as an angel of light. So it's not always obvious what the enemy is. And again, these are all thoughts and notes that I made from watching the movie Wonder Woman. So I think why I keep referring to it is because it's so powerful to have a visual of this. Like, okay, I get the concept that the enemy doesn't always look evil or he can disguise himself as an angel of light, but I'm not looking for angels of light either, like I don't really see angels in my day. So I think the movie is so helpful because it provides this powerful visual of Diana is going to end war because that's what she's been called to do. She's been called to defeat the god of war so that wars will cease and their love will reign on the earth. And someone who appears to be her ally, like the figure in the movie who appears to be fighting for peace and like actually was fighting for peace in a sense because he knew it wouldn't last because he knew, or his perspective of humanity was that it would never last. So the character who is actually Ares, that you don't discover till the end, of course, he's portraying himself as a somewhat feeble old man who just really wants peace, who is kind of tired, very gentle, very supportive. Like he knows who Diana is, but she doesn't know who she is. She didn't know she had met her enemy in London. She thought he was an ally and that he was on her side. There will be hard and painful things in your life, but let that pain fuel your fight. Don't let the pain take you out. Instead, let that pain remind you of why it's worth fighting for. You're more powerful than you know. Like the Lord has just been bringing this to me so much the last 2 weeks at the time I'm recording this, and of how, and if you haven't watched the movie, it's totally no spoiler alert. I'm just telling you the whole thing because there's just lessons in all of it for me, and I believe for you too. But it comes down to the end, and they have stopped the chemical bombs from being and like escalating the war again. She realizes that Ares, the god of war, is not who she thought it was, and accomplishing what they accomplished did not stop the war. So she's confused, and that's when she finds out that the guy she thought was her ally was actually Ares in disguise, and he invites her to come and be on his side, and he does it in a very winsome way. He takes her to a beautiful place, and he's talking about love and peace and appealing to the things that she wants and he knows she wants. But she is wise enough to see the price that comes with that, and that he's not really offering her what she wants. He's offering a version of what she wants. It's not genuine. And she's able to see that. But also she doesn't know until he tells her that she herself is a god. And obviously we are not God. But the resurrection, the same power that raised Jesus from the dead is in us. We have resurrection power, God's power in us. We are not God, but we have his power in us. And so we are more powerful than we know. And as Diana was attacked again and again, like Ares just kind of kept attacking her just a little bit more. Like he didn't full on destroy her to begin with. Like it just, each attack gets bigger and bigger. But what he didn't seem to be counting on is that her understanding of her capabilities grew with every attack. And I feel like that's what the Lord has been impressing on me as well, is that instead of attacks beating me down and wearing me out and discouraging me, and like I'm human, I'm still going to experience those things. But ultimately, it is to make me more aware and more capable. And it's to make you more aware and more capable that you have survived this attack. Now, what did you learn from it that can make you more effective in the next and the next? And so, there's however many attacks in their fight scene until she finally is able to destroy him because she chooses love. And I think that's incredibly powerful too. It is the power of love, the power of God, who himself is love, that enables us to win any of our battles and to be who we're supposed to be. It's because he is love, not because he's judging and picky and strict and any of these other things you might see him as, or he's represented as at times, but because he loves, that he's willing to redeem the world because he loves. And that love helped her discover who she really was, that she chose love. She knew inside, like, I'm made for love and I'm choosing that. And also being a warrior, to not be bothered about being different or standing out, because she didn't look like anybody around her, and how she dressed and how she functioned. And she didn't care. It didn't make the slightest difference to her. She knew who she was and she knew what she was there for. So trying to fit in and trying to please others and all of that will keep you from the impact you're supposed to make. None of it matters. Be who you're supposed to be. And she had such a childlike faith. And of course, it's a movie, so she's completely naive about things, but her naivety and her belief in this is what I am made for, so this is what I will do, that simple childlike faith is what enabled her to do what she did. Because if she had listened to the people explaining how things work, like, no, then how could she believe, like, well, I'm just a person, like I can't stop whole entire countries and wars. And it was because of her simple faith and because of seeing the spirit behind the people as being where the evil and the war was coming from, instead of seeing the people themselves as evil, which is a key in our battles too. The people themselves are not our enemy. They might be making bad choices. They might be hard to get along with, but it's the spirits behind them, the spirits manipulating them, that are the actual enemy, and where we have authority. The enemy knows who you are and what you're made for, and he will try to take you out, which is all the more reason to prepare. And I did an episode on preparing and why it matters. It matters because you have an enemy who knows who you are and what you're meant to do, and he wants to take you out so that you cannot do that. From the very beginning of time, when Adam and Eve had to leave the garden, part of God's promise was that the woman would cause problems for him. So he knows, and he wants to take you out. So instead of adopting a victim mentality of like, oh, poor me, why does he want to do this? No, I'm a warrior and I'm made to destroy you. So I'm going to learn my weapons. I'm going to train. I'm going to prepare so that you don't take me out. And then one final thought, two, I guess, as I'm looking at my notes. Fight with people who know your strengths. And that was from the scene in the movie where they've come to this town and there's a sniper up in the church bell tower and they can't get to him. And of course, he's taking people out because he's up in the bell tower above the town. And the soldier that she's traveling with sees this hood, I think it is, this big piece of metal. and he calls the people that are traveling with him and gets Diana's attention, and they use it as a launch pad for her to get up to the bell tower, because he had seen, I don't know if it was her, but he had seen one of her warriors do that when he had been in her world. So he knew that was something that she could do. He knew that was a strength she had, and he set her up for that to be successful there. So those are the kind of people that you want to go into battle with, that know your strengths and are going to support you and feed to your strengths so that you can do what you're supposed to do, not that are competing with you and pulling you down and telling you what you can't accomplish. And then final thought, which kind of feels like I need to do a separate episode on that, of stepping out will draw enemy fire. So when she stepped into no man's land, they were still just shooting across as they had been doing to, randomly try and get somebody here or there until somebody saw her. And then every gun was trained on her because she was stepping out where nobody was supposed to be and where nobody had been able to gain any ground. And her shield, her faith, was strong enough to withstand that. It slowed her down, and it was hard, but she was able to withstand it, and she was able to draw the fire that allowed the men with her to get across. And it made a way, that obedience, that stepping out. Yes, it drew the enemy fire, which sucks and is not fun, but it also made the way for so many more to come and fight alongside her. And I feel such a passion around that as women, that as you step into whatever your no man's land is, you're going to draw that fire, and it is really going to stink. So have some people reach out to me, find people in your life that you can trust to be praying for you and holding your shield with you. But knowing it's going to be worth it, because it is making the way for your children, possibly your husband, other family, community, church, whatever it is, to come and fight alongside you. And for us listening here on the Kingdom Mothers Rise Up podcast, to fight alongside you for the kingdom. So stepping out draws the fire, and it's not fun, but you can prepare for it, and you can know the promise on the other side, the promise of the people that can come and fight with you and the victories that are won. And then at the end of the movie, that discovering of who you really are in Christ and what you are really capable of when you are fully surrendered to Him. So thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to today's episode of the Kingdom Mothers Rise Up podcast. I'm blessed to have you here. If you'd like to continue the conversation, you can join us in the Kingdom Mothers Rise Up Facebook community. When you're ready for more support, I have the Heart Doodling with Jesus monthly membership, periodic group coaching, and one-on-one personalized coaching as well. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you next time.